Cariboo Weather Dude YouTube channel. Hit like, share, subscribe. My name is Joey. Only up here in Wells, British Columbia, 3,953 feet above sea level. I am the highest guy in BC. One of the highest people in BC. That's right, because there's only two towns that are higher in elevation. That's Elkford would be the other one, and that's way down south, and the other one would be Canmore, Banff. They count as towns, and they are higher elevation than Wells. Other than that, though, we're up there, man. We're up here. Anyways, coming to the Cariboo tomorrow. Thunderstorms, that's what we're here to talk about. A little bit of thunderstorms. So there's already the pattern changes underway. We had a nice break of warm weather with that ridging coming through, and of course, that's doors getting shut real quick on us. Already the coast is getting weather right now, and some of that weather is going to make itself known into the interior. If you can't tell by the changing skies already, there's a change underway, which could bring us thunderstorms on Monday. Bit of a blah week for weather. Yeah, it's going to be that spring kind of weather. It's hard to report on. It's like it's shitty a lot. You know, it's neither too cold or too warm. It's not too sunny. It's not raining too much. It's just sometimes a lot. Yeah, you know, it's let's go. Let's talk about it all. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. They dry mopping this. Oh, hey, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, hit like, share, and subscribe. There's also that little bell there, a little bell icon. If you hit that, you will get notifications when I make new videos, and you will like that. You will like that. Okay, let's get to the story. Thunder Monday. Thunder Monday. Where, Joey? Well, let's let the graphic play out. First in Washington State and Oregon. Boom. Then we got our first little show up around 1300 hours on the 1 o'clock hour. Looks like our best chance is going to be starting up in that Williams Lake to 100 Mile House corridor, but maybe west of Williams Lake as well. Could see a few cells pop up around Kamloops and down through the lower elevations like Penticton and whatnot. What's going to happen is you're going to have dry weather sort of lingering in those areas, and this colder, crappier weather is going to slam in. You can see the shortwave bend, actually. You can see the bend in the isobars right here, and that's usually a good sign as to where, I mean, if you didn't know anything about, didn't have the thunderstorm icon in which to click on here and look at, you could easily still, if you're me, determine like, well, somewhere around this bend is probably where we're going to see the thunderstorm activity kick off. So that's a little tip for you there. Boom, all the way up through the middle of the Cariboo by 3 o'clock. Where are we looking at now? All the way down past and touching into the northern tip of Oregon. Where are we looking at in BC? So areas that are around Williams Lake and the Cariboo could see some flashes, could see some lightning, maybe some small hail and some of these grapple squalls kind of thing. You know, I'm not suggesting there's any risk of severe storms, although this area has got some good colors in there. That could maybe be, could be that we see some of these areas between 100 Mile House and Williams Lake fire up and really throw some lightning. Some of the other areas that, you know, may show that could be out in the West Cariboo as well, maybe a little bit of a less risk. There we go at 4 o'clock, and we start to see it dying off, still hanging around Williams Lake around that time. So everyone in Williams Lake area, I say you're probably a go for that. Let's have a look at the bigger picture now. So here's the sort of big picture as to what's going on. As we have this upper level low sitting in the Gulf of Alaska, it's kind of just sitting there and churning and not doing a whole lot. However, what it's doing is it's pulling stuff up from the south, right? So that's helped bring us some warmer weather. But now part of that tail from that system is impacting into southern BC, up the coastline, Washington State, certainly western sections of Washington State and Portland area, probably seeing a little bit of precip up and down the Oregon coast. So that's going on. You got this high pressure block down here, more or less. It's kind of helping feed things down into, you can see how high that is, 1032 millibars. So very high pressure down there. Tends to live somewhere off the coast of California, and that's making for a nice conveyor belt that is basically sending everything up and towards us, and that's how it's going to play over the next bunch of days. We still have crazy thunderstorm activity going off down in the United States. It's been days and days of severe weather for them. Still going on, although they're starting to see a little bit of a change in that for the next little while. High pressure starting to become more and more dominant in the center of the continent. So it's Sunday at 2 in the afternoon. You can see where that's going through Arkansas and areas like that, more or less. But we're going to jump up to BC and stick on to BC here. You're going to see some snow in the mountaintops, yeah, but temperatures are still pretty good down low. The low, it's like a breakaway low is forming sort of up in the Prince George area overnight tonight. You can see definitely there's a risk of a little bit of freezing precipitation. I would think if you're in that area overnight on Highway 20, heading towards Bella Coola, you might run into some of that. You're definitely coming down the mountain pass. You could hit some snow in there. Definitely going to be snow in the higher peaks. Maybe a little bit of rain moving through the southern interior. Maybe a little bit of rain in the lower mainland. You can see that this is a windy system. Will be impacting Haida Gwa at some point tonight. There's no statements or warnings on any of that so far yet either. So that's good for them. Still above zero for most places in the lower elevations overnight. Yeah, Williams Lake getting down to 5.4. It will not get to zero. No, definitely not. But you can see Coast Mountains getting a little bit of snow down there, precipitation in southern BC to start Monday morning off. You can now see Vancouver Island taking it pretty hard up the Coast Mountains, a mix of rain, a mix of snow, depending on your elevation. That breakaway low trying to form itself, trying to move its way out. And now we're starting to see our first thunderstorm icons at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Weekly through much of the southern interior looks like more substantially into the Cariboo. Are we going to see like strong thunderstorms? Probably not. These aren't crazy looking. This is maybe embedded, and we have a bunch of rain squalls come through, and at the front of them is going to be some lightning. Could see something like that. Could see instability kind of pop and go, popcorns at times. They may not be long-lasting storms. They may not have the ability to last more than an hour, an individual storm, before it starts to exhaust itself and fade out. But you do have that risk moving through the central Cariboo while you have a mix of rain and precip down in southeastern BC, while you have more snow in the taller Coast Mountains. Definitely have some rain going on. Maybe if you're going over the Coquihalla on Monday night, you could, Monday afternoon, you might run into a little bit of snow and things like that. It's possible. Definitely possible. Northern BC, seeing a bit of snowfall. Random scattered. Nothing crazy for precipitation numbers I'm not seeing here, like some solid numbers. In terms of there's going to be precipitation, but I'm not seeing like anything record-breaking or mind-blowing or completely out of left field. No, but nonetheless, that gives us a little bit of a cool night. So we're probably going to see down to below zero for Williams Lake and places like that by Tuesday overnight. Warm up a little bit during the day, depending on how much sun you get on you. Looking like mostly messy in the Coast Mountains. Going to have some of those mountain passes you're driving through over times that are going to be messy on Tuesday. Sure, maybe there's a risk of a little bit of lightning in that sector around Prince George to the north and the west. Doesn't look crazy, but maybe we'll see an update in the forecast modeling in the next bunch of days that does show us something better. But yeah, temperatures dropping right off. Unfortunately for us, even Hinton looking at well below zero at nighttime, for example, on the Alberta side. Back into more of a typical April pattern where you're up and down a little bit more, and heavier precip on Wednesday morning through certain parts of central British Columbia. Things to look out for if you're traveling over, having plans on Wednesday morning to go over the passes into Alberta. You're probably going to run into mixes of slop and slurry, especially early in the morning. More so, it looks a little bit less cohesive as you get later in the day. And then look at that, a little bit of a risk of thunderstorm Wednesday afternoon in the Alberta foothills. Nothing major, flash of lightning or two, and maybe some of those tall convective cells that pop up during the day. Then we start to see a little bit of a clearing trend for a short period, not for the coast though. No, definitely not. Up most of that mid to north coast, you're probably seeing gross conditions a lot into Thursday morning. It's going to be pretty consistent in the mountains, socked in a lot this week. We got that new low coming late in the week. The high pressure is like giving us a little bit of a break as it's settling down there and stretching itself up towards the north, giving some of us clear skies in BC, but not for western, especially northern places. And then as you come into Thursday, we expect that next low to be moving in sometime, and that's going to be, again, another weather maker. And that looks like more of a direct hit into the province. You can see that low is trying to come straight on in. There it goes. forming into the center of the province. So looking like heavier precipitation on Thursday, heavier precipitation Thursday night, I should say, up as we get going. Mostly going to be rain overnight, I would think, in some of the lower country, and then snow in the higher country. Sure, places like here in Wells probably going to be getting snow at that time. If you're driving over mountain passes, you got highway driving to do. This week's going to have a lot of gross moments. Gross moments. But wow, look at that. Friday, that next low, what's it going to do? It's going to help bump our temperatures back up. Kamloops to 13 on Friday. Nice. Double digits up into the Cariboo. That's what we want to see more of. Maybe not so much for Revelstoke, a little bit too far east. But that will help us warm things up again by next weekend. And maybe not incredibly warm like we just saw. No, definitely not looking like that is in our future. Again, we're really looking at a pattern of, just blah and garbagey weather this week in BC. I mean, more or less. Looking where temperatures are at across the board. We'll just pick Tuesday afternoon, for example, and we'll click on temperatures here and see where we're at. And you can see half of Canada still quite chilly in the afternoon. Still sitting below zero in Ontario. Definitely very warm down there. New Mexico, California. We know that western heat somewhere down there. We'd love if it visits us some more. Alberta getting a prolonged warmer spell. Sure, into Wednesday maybe before they start to see that decline. And look at some of those temperatures for Northern Ontario, Northern Quebec. Gross, man. Really gross. It's April, and you're seeing minus 15s and 17s and 20s overnight in some of those areas. Nasty. I know a lot of you would prefer to see the end of that. But that's more or less what we're looking at this week, kind of a return to seasonal cooler patterns in BC, to mix of precipitation. One low kind of moving through tomorrow on Monday, another one trying to move through on Friday, and those will be our weather makers this week. Looking nice for Alberta still on Wednesday. Congratulations, 14 Celsius for you over there. Saskatchewan on the western side getting some of that nice weather still for a little bit. Hey, that's fine, but you go look at your night times. You're still getting below zero for most of Alberta at nighttime, and not too bad actually. Maybe you're getting a better deal this week in Alberta than I thought, actually. Look at that. Maybe some cool nighttime temperatures, but look at that. Even some warm stuff down there in Montana. So scratch what I was saying about everyone cooling down in the west. No, it's really going to be just us getting kind of the crappy feed of that upper level low. But hopefully it breaks down and is gone, and we can kind of have a new pattern sometime soon here in the province, one where I want to see some of this stuff. I want to see that warm stuff mid-month come. Yeah, we could be into a warm spring pattern here at some point. We just got to wait out the next little while. Oh, there's a new upper level low. Oh boy. Anyways, that's kind of your look at things right now. Thunderstorms Monday, mix of precipitation depending where you are. Watch your highway passes if you got long hauling and trucking to do and you're going places. It's those high country points, I think, at this time of year where you're going to run into surprising things where you're like, oh yeah, good, it's nice weather here, and you get up high and then you hit things like I hit last week going down to Penticton and back, where you'd never have known how lovely it was down the valley bottoms at that time when you're up on top and conditions that were blizzard-like. Anyways, that's the show. Hit like, share, subscribe. We'll be back with more details as we get them here on the channel. Always. Thanks, everybody. Need your support greatly to survive here until the work season starts for me. And can't thank all of you enough. Okay, bye now.